I want to thank the media for being here today, and those of you who are sitting in this room for being here today to let me give you an update on our utility department. First, I want to let you know that the ongoing investigation for the two utility workers is still ongoing, but I've asked the auditor's office, state auditor's office, to expedite that so that we can get through that process expeditiously. I am convinced that once that investigation is concluded, there may be some warrants issued, but I do know that whenever we get it, we will pass that information along to all of you, particularly the media who have been concerned about this process as well. But I gotta tell you, through our own investigation here in the city of Moss Point, we found a large number of residents who've been getting water through illegal usage. And that has contributed immensely to the deficit in the utility department in terms of collection. We found that through our own investigation that some of those people were getting water through direct hookups. Some was getting water by illegally bypassing the metering system. I've got two photos that I got here on the table that shows you what the area where the meter should be look like when that meter is absent. And the farthest photo, closest to you, you'll find that the meter is missing. There's an apparatus where we can lock the meter, and when we've done that, they go out and they cut the lock, which then leaves us with the only alternative, and that is to disconnect the water from the street. Once we do that, it compounds the residents' problem, because now when they go through the court system, and I'll let Mr. Beeman explain the process to you, once we detect that these situations do exist in the city, these people will be turned over to the courts. Their water, in order to retrieve it again, will have to pay a tap fee plus what they owe the city for the illegal usage. So I'll yield at this time to Mr. Beeman to tell you how we do this in the city and what we've done in order to get where we are.
Which the mayor has pointed out, we have two examples here on the table. We immediately begin our investigation. We contact the correct people to come out. We'll disconnect it. We'll come back to our office. We'll make sure that we're going after the person that is responsible for that hookup. At that time, we'll determine exactly how much, or how long rather, the illegal hookup has been there through going through our investigation under the utility and the water department side. Once we conclude that, we will actually calculate the amount, and then we'll press charges in our court, city court, on whomever is responsible for it, so we can recoup our money that they have illegally used and that have have come over to us through that process. Our court system is real vigilant and diligent in doing that, and with the instructions of our mayor, he has been very supportive of this process.
Thank you, Mr. What was happening with our utilities? Today we have a 25% increase in collection for water in the utility department, and that's just for 1 month cycle. And we have a full cycle event in this city, but for 1 month we now have a 25% increase in the utility fees downstairs. So that means that the processes that we've put in place are now working, and those people are paying their bills, and hopefully when we get to section 4, we will have a 75% increase in collection in the utility department. So we do know that the things that we're doing now is working, and those people who are not accountable and responsible for paying what they were using have stepped up those others, we'll continue to go after those and make sure that they step up as well. But I want to tell you also that we hired a new auditing firm, and that new auditing firm has helped us to put controls, internal controls in place, as well as the controls that we've discovered that need to be put in place. And we're excited about that, and I'll let our city clerk expound on that briefly.
Part of the duties that auditing firm has been assigned is to put internal controls in place in our utilities division. In the past, we had no check and balance system there. We had no standard operating procedure there. It was just kind of fly by night, do what you want, just nothing in place. I just want to say thank you to the mayor and the board for being diligent in making sure that we get those revenues in here and that we put things such as internal controls in place to prevent further theft or any illegal usage and all of those things that are happening here in Moss Point, to make sure that taxpayers know that we are doing whatever we can to ensure fairness and that their tax dollars are being spent fairly, and that we're being good stewards of their tax dollars. So thank you, Mayor, and we're hoping that, as he mentioned, as we go along, that we'll see an even better increase in our revenues and utilities.
To all of the residents out there, and property owners and tenants, if you found illegally using water, you will have to pay those fees, and possibly you will have to face prosecution. But we will give you an opportunity to come in and pay those fees. We'll notify you that if you don't, we will turn that over to the courts. We'll give you 10 days in which to do that. And if you haven't done that, then we'll proceed with the court proceedings. But we want everyone to know that we're excited about where we are. We know that we're headed in the right direction, and we want you to be assured that we're being good stewards with your taxpayers' dollars, and that your dollars are being used for the purpose in which is intended. Contrary to what has happened in the past, it's in the past. We've got things in place now to prevent that in this administration and future administrations if they continue to use the processes that we have in place. So again, I want to thank you for being here today.
Mayor, do you feel like the public, the users are the ones who are stealing water, or do you feel like maybe this is part of the investigation of your water department that some of the employees are just looking them up?
Initially, it was a combination of both. But today, it's in the actual water usage at the resident site itself. We've put procedures in place downstairs so that those people who handle the funds that come through that office are accounting for those funds to the appropriate accounting department on the second floor behind us here. As you all know, that for every debit there's a credit, and for every credit there's a debit, and so money counts itself basically. And we have processes in places now, and we have new software that we have instituted down there that will prevent those things from happening. Should they do, everyone that should know will know immediately.
What impact will the lost revenue have on city operations?
I beg your pardon?
What impact will the lost revenue have on city operations?
Well, as you know, bedrooms don't really bring in enough revenue to effectively operate a municipality. You need major money, but when you don't have revenue, that burden is put on homeowners. And so as a result of that, we need homeowners to pay for the utilities that they receive so that we can continue to provide the services that they require, expect, and deserve in terms of infrastructure improvements, our roads, etc. And without those funds, it's impossible to make those things happen.